Welcome, everyone. It's Wednesday night at 6:30. My apologies about last week. I wasn't on. I had to deal with some family issues. I think some of you know my mom has bad dementia, and I will be doing some series on dementia also. But I had to get her settled in her new memory care facility, but they call it a community. So that's why I wasn't here last week. But this week I'm back, and I'm happy to go over some really fun news and information for you, because I get this question all the time. For those of you who don't know me, I'm Dr. Diana Hoppy. I'm a board-certified OBGYN here in Southern California in San Diego. And I do Facebook Lives on Wednesday nights at 6:30. And I love the people that are joining. We have John, we have Shudri. Oh, great, Ronnie Silverman. Oh, cool, McGuire. Cool. So as you come on board and sign in, give me your name. If you have a question as I'm going along, please go ahead and give me that question, because we like it to be interactive. I am an OBGYN, but I love to do a lot of other things like lifestyle, health and wellness. How can we integrate the whole body to your health? And many times I get asked about multivitamins and supplements and minerals. Like, do I need to take a multivitamin? And what vitamins should I take? What supplements are really needed for certain things? So I'm going to try to cover as much as I can tonight. I won't get into everything because this could be a whole seminar on this whole topic. So I want to keep it more basic, and then we can delve further with our other sessions. I can get some experts that can talk more in depth about certain things. So I'm going to give you more like just a general, what my 5 things I think everyone should be on, because I think that is going to be important for health. So everyone on board? Cool. All right. So let's start with just what's changed right now in our soil. So the reasons why the first thing I recommend for my patients, and again, you should talk to your physician, your primary care physician, or your caregiver, your DO or NP, whoever you're seeing, and make sure before you start any kind of vitamin or supplement that you talk to them about it. You may have some health conditions that might not be the best with that certain vitamin or mineral. So I want to make that disclaimer that this is more informational, but please go to your physician prior to starting any of these supplements. Okay, great. So the first thing I get asked is, should I take a multivitamin or not? I used to think, well, if we have enough vitamins and minerals in our food, well, we don't need to have a multivitamin, right? Problem is our soil has changed, and I hope you guys can see this. There we go. Our soil has changed, and what it means is that we used to have a lot more minerals and vitamins in our soil, and you can see that now it's changed drastically. So the vitamins and minerals that were in our soil, and this has been since 2000, from 1900 to 2010, you can see how much of a reduction in minerals there's been just from that one graphic. And here's another one that shows it, and I'm just going to go over this a little bit more because I know it's hard to see. But basically what it shows is that in the last 70 years, we have decreased our minerals and vitamins in the soil. And this has to be from soil depletion. It could be a lot of factors. It's the way we farm. It's a certain way that they do agriculture. But bottom line is we're having much less vitamins and mineral in our soil. And then what that means, it means we're having less vitamins and minerals in our fruits and vegetables that we eat. So hello, Robin, David, Judy, Marcus, Danny. Hey, cool. And John's there too, and Trudy. Excellent. And also Ronnie. Thank you. So in this graph I just showed, it showed how that in the fruits and vegetables, sodium has been depleted by 30 to 50%, potassium about 20%, magnesium, a really important mineral, about 25%, calcium 50%, iron about 25%, copper, huge decrease in copper, and zinc. And you might think, well, what's the big deal? Well, you need these trace minerals and the certain sodium and potassium for things in your body to actually function. And if we're not getting it through the foods we eat, because the soil has been so depleted, we do need to take a multivitamin. And I get into what I suggest the best. This is another graph I thought was pretty cool that I got from, this is Dr. Mercola's site. Some of you may know of Dr. Mercola. And it shows 1950 versus 1998. And so in 1950, the amount of iron we got from one apple was 4.3 milligrams. Now, if you look at an apple now in 1998, now this is 98, so 20 years ago, which we've had even further soil depletion, one apple was 0.18. So you'd have to eat this many apples to equal that one apple in 1950. I think that's pretty incredible. So it shows you that our soil has definitely changed. We're not getting the vitamins and minerals from the food that we're eating because the soil just does not have it. And so here are some of the different major elements that we need for our body. You can see calcium, magnesium, potassium, some of the things I just covered, and then also trace elements. So those are the things I mentioned about zinc and copper and some of those amazing elements that we need. When we look at what disease states have actually increased while we see this decline in the trace minerals, you can see that certain diseases have increased. Now, does that mean it's a cause and effect? Not necessarily, but we do know that obesity is on the rise, that's processed foods, certain cancers, body pain, inflammation, arthritis, things like that can definitely be affected by the food that we eat. So when people say, oh, it doesn't really matter what I put in my body, that is not a true statement. What you eat is critical. Like food is thy medicine. I have some great nutritionists that I work with, and your food that you eat will nourish your body. If you're not getting the nourishment, you will feel fatigued. You will have certain arthritis, joint pain, headaches, hot flashes sometimes can be exacerbated by lack of minerals and certain vitamins. So it's really important. I think I'm making a pretty good point about that, and I think all of you are seeing that, my passion in this, because if we take control of our health, we can decrease our risk for certain conditions like heart disease, hypercholesterolemia, which is high cholesterol, plaque in our arteries, so stroke and heart attack, dementia. As I mentioned, my mom has dementia. If there's ways we can decrease inflammation, decrease diabetes, decrease lots of different medical conditions, we can really do a lot for our health. That's why I'm so passionate about having these Facebook Lives and giving my blog. So if you look at my site, drdianahoppe.com, there'll be lots of blogs, lots of information about many of the things that I cover. So please know that that's another great resource for you to go to. So we were just talking about how minerals and vitamins are definitely on the decrease. And here's another graph. And basically it just shows the graph of what we have in the decline of what's happening in our soil again. And this is due to the mechanization of farming, the different pesticides and herbicides that we're using in our soil, the fungicides. So you can see that we have a lot more of those happening in the 1950s and beyond. So that's when we see a steep rise in all the use of these farming. And there's also like Monsanto has, oh my gosh, I'm spacing on the name, but they just got approval that apparently I don't want to say the exact condition that happened, but we need to be really cautious of what we're eating and what's in our fruits and vegetables. And that's why I like that EWG.org site. And that site will give you the Dirty Dozen and the Clean 15, which are the foods that you should buy organic and the foods you can buy just on regular convenience, not organic. So great site, EWG.org. So let's talk about some of the vitamin deficiencies. And again, this is why I recommend a multivitamin. And this is the one I recommend, but you can have, if you have one that you like that's working well for you, absolutely continue with that. There is a Metagenics Phyto Multi. There's also another line that Arenda makes. That's a really good multivitamin also. This is a Phyto Multi that has all the minerals and vitamins that you need, plus phytonutrients. So it comes with iron and without iron. So if you're still having periods, those women who are watching us, if you're still having cycles, you want to get a multivitamin that has iron in it. If you are no longer cycling and you're menopausal, you can just get a multivitamin without iron. So really important point there, so that if you are menopausal, don't take extra iron. They think that that might increase your risk potentially for heart disease. I know, keeping up with all this stuff is crazy, and that's why I like to do these sessions, because it keeps me up to date also. Let's talk about vitamin deficiencies a little bit. And thank you for posting that, Danny, for giving me all the health and news by Dr. Diana. Yeah, I have a lot of information on my website, so please go to that and share with your friends. There's also a shopping cart on the site, so it has the different things I recommend, which I'll be talking about tonight. So let's talk a little bit about vitamins and one of the deficiencies in vitamins. So we talked about how the soil doesn't have as much minerals and vitamins that it had 50, 60 years ago, 70 years ago now. And now we're having more vitamin deficiency. So that's why you need a multivitamin and maybe even more vitamins than just in the multivitamin. Let me start with vitamin A. So if you don't have enough vitamin A, you can have poor night vision. So poor loss of vision, and that's pretty much the major thing for vitamin A. Vitamin B can lead to different neurological conditions, nervousness, weakness, paralysis. B complex is really important, and that's the B1, B2, B5, B9, B12. So I recommend the B complex, and I'll get to which one I recommend in a second. Vitamin C has gotten a lot of press lately. I think it's really important for the immune system. Linus Pauling was one of the main researchers with vitamin C, really advocated that, and it can help with, again, immune system, joint swelling, bleeding gums. That's what happens if you don't get enough vitamin C. We know with vitamin D, this has also got a lot of press lately. And we normally think with vitamin D, it's just about your bones, right? Well, vitamin D now is being shown that it can actually help prevent certain cancers. So if you have enough vitamin D in your system, you can decrease your risk for certain cancers. And I'm going to get into what level that is in just a minute. And then vitamin K is really important. That's green leafy vegetables. If you don't have enough, it's going to cause a problem with clotting, so blood clotting. So mineral deficiencies, I'm not going to go through all these too much, but basically I think a lot of you know that if you don't have enough minerals, you're going to have problems with like anemia. With calcium decrease, you can have brittle bones. Phosphorus, really important. Magnesium is really important too. And we're not getting enough magnesium in our diet. So that's where the multivitamin, make sure your multivitamin has magnesium in it. I'm going to try to scan this so that it'll be on my site tomorrow. But this is kind of a nice graph that says what are the vitamins and minerals that I recommend and what foods you get them in. It also says what deficiency, like what it causes if you don't get enough. So, and the daily intake. And this is from a certain site. The sources were Dietitians of Canada. I actually like Canada because sometimes our RDA, the recommended daily amount, really isn't accurate. And that's based on a lot of information that's very archaic, let's just say. So this is a great graph. I'll have it on my site tomorrow. I'll have Cynthia post it on the site, and maybe even we can put it on Facebook. So I really love B complex vitamins, and that's why I have the injections at my office, and they help with weight loss if you actually get the extra carnitine also. So B vitamins really important for nutrition, immune system, energy, neurological function. If your brain's getting kind of foggy, B vitamins are really good. Also biotin, which is one of the B's, helps with hair and your nails. So I think all of us want to look good and stay looking good. Let me see if there's any comments yet. So Maggie has a great point here. And let me see. Hi, Dr. D. I was wondering how much iron is too much. It depends on what kind of iron you're taking, because certain iron is absorbed more than others. On this sheet, I have that men should take 8 milligrams, women 18 milligrams. But it depends on what type of iron you're taking. So that is something that, if you let me know which one you're on, ferrous sulfate, if it's ferrolet, there's different types of iron, and that's what's the best to take. Then we have another question, can taking the vitamin D supplement keep you healthy without spending any time in the sun? This is a great question, because when I check vitamin D levels in my patients, I'm finding very low vitamin D levels. Why is that? One, we're using a lot more sunscreen, which is good. We want to protect our skin and not get skin cancer, melanoma, etc. Two, we're not absorbing as much vitamin D from the sun. That is, our GI tract, our kidneys, we're not actually converting as much vitamin D to the D3 that we really need. So vitamin D is another thing that you should take. And even if you spend 20 or 30 minutes in the sun, that's probably not enough vitamin D. And have your primary care physician check your vitamin D level, as well as your vitamin B12 level. Very important, because if you're deficient, there's really easy ways that we can bump that up and make you start feeling a lot better. So we're covering a lot tonight, and I don't want to get too overly intricate, but I do want to talk about the levels of vitamin D that you want. I just mentioned about how vitamin D levels have been low in my patients when I check it. And this is from Dr. Mercola's site, and he basically says that deficient is less than 50. Now, if you look at your lab slip and your doctor goes over it with you, it's going to say less than 30 nanograms per cc. Optimal range is 50 to 70. And that is the range that we find to help treat cancers and decrease your risk for developing cancer. If you're over 100, that's not good. So there's a range about 50 to 70 to 80. That's the best range to be in for vitamin D. So let's talk about what are the things I recommend, because I've given you a lot of information. I've talked about how our soil, basically what we're getting all our fruits and vegetables and things from, is depleted. Multiple reasons for that. And so now we're seeing a lot more vitamin deficiencies as well as mineral deficiencies. So what I recommend is first is a basic multivitamin. And that multivitamin should have all the things I mentioned about, magnesium, manganese, selenium. Again, if you want to look at the Phytomulti that I have, as well as the Arenda vitamin I have online on my site. It's a great multivitamin. If you're still having cycles, get it with iron. If you're not having any more bleeding and you're in menopause, get the vitamin without iron. Secondly, I recommend a vitamin D3. So I just mentioned about D, the vitamin D, and how it's really important for so many things in our lives. And it's not really a vitamin, it's a hormone. So that's why it has such impact on so many aspects of our health. So vitamin D, I like vitamin D3. And I have a vitamin D3 I have in the office because a lot of my patients are low. So I have this one from Orthomolecular. It's a great vitamin D. It's a really high dose vitamin D, but I only do this for about 8 weeks because vitamin D is a fat soluble vitamin. So it stays in your body. It stays in your fat. So I do this to just bump up the levels, and then I check it again in 8 weeks. And then you can do vitamin D, the 50,000 IU once a month. So it's a really nice way to take vitamin D. Another thing I recommend is fish oils. Fish oils are great. It helps with, brain function. It also helps with decreased inflammation. I'm finding my little sheet for fish oils here. Here it is. Yeah, so this is the Metagenics one. Again, there's some great companies that make great fish oils. This is the one I take. It's the EPA DHA 720, and it has the EPA and the DHA as well as some other different marine. It's basically marine lipid concentrate. It does contain fish, so if you're allergic to fish, you can't take this one. It is 2 soft gels once a day, and it has a lemon flavor, and it doesn't cause burping. Because some of the fish oils that we can take can cause some burping, and that's normally not a nice thing to have during the day. So that's the fish oil. So I mentioned a multivitamin. I mentioned about vitamin D3, fish oils. And the next I would recommend is a probiotic. And this we could do a whole session on probiotics because it gets really convoluted. It gets confusing because there's a lot of different probiotics. There's also prebiotics out there. So I'm going to keep it simple tonight and just tell what I recommend for the probiotics. For general GI health for women and men, it's the Ultraflora Balance, and that's Metagenics again. And then if you women out there are having vaginal infections like recurrent yeast or bacterial vaginitis, then they actually have one for vaginal health, and that's Ultraflora Women's. So it's really cool. So that's the probiotic that I would recommend. And then I also would recommend a B complex vitamin. And this one is the Metagenics one for vitamin B. If you have a B complex that you like, that you're taking, that's working for you, absolutely continue with it. I'm just giving you some possible options because a lot of us don't know that we need these supplements. And I have some women come to my office. They have bags of supplements. They've bought 20 to 30 things from their chiropractor or their DO or someone has sold them these things. And I'm not saying that for some people that's needed, but for many of us, we really don't need all of those supplements. We really need 5, and that's the ones that I just covered. CoQ10 is another one if you have a history of heart disease or you're an athlete. CoQ10 can help increase performance. It also can decrease the risk for heart disease. So CoQ10 is another one that I would recommend in certain situations. So let me see if there's any other questions that we have. Yeah, if you want the vitamin B shots, thank you for putting that up. Just give my office a call. Men can also join in on those shots, so it's not just for women. There was one question about squid oil versus fish oil. I don't know that squid oil. I only know about fish oils, so I'd have to look that one up. So let me see what I can find. Or probably Dr. Mercola's site would have that. I know about krill oil, but I don't know about squid. And then Ashley asks, can you check these vitamin levels at your office? Absolutely. So when you see your doctor, if you want to come see me, I'd love to see all of you. Have your doctor check your magnesium level. You can do your ferritin, which is an iron level, a vitamin D level, a vitamin B12 level. So those are certain vitamins that you can check. And normally they'll check also your sodium, potassium, chloride, those basic electrolytes. So there's other things that can be checked. There's also a great lab called SpectraCell, which does a really comprehensive look at the different vitamins and minerals that you have. So that's another option, and I can give you information on that, called SpectraCell, and it's a great lab that really looks at these in depth. So let me see what else we have. Okay, that was a fish oil. We got, you can find Metagenic vitamins. And then we always people joining. Thank you. Sorry that you guys came a little late, but that's okay because we record these. So it's really fun that all of you are on. We got Tony, Kathleen, Marsha, Vincent. So thanks to all of you for joining. Please go back and review some of these things. I know I covered quite a bit, but I wanted to give you just a basic outline of what you should be on. So if you do go to the doctor and maybe they might be prescribing a lot of different vitamins and supplements, make sure that you figure out why you're taking those and know that there's really about 4 or 5 that we really need to keep us healthy. That in conjunction with stress reduction, exercise, water intake, proper sleep, so many things that really impact our health. So I hope that all of you really enjoyed this tonight. I did. I thought I learned a lot, and now I see there's so much about probiotics and prebiotics and vitamins and how they work in our lives. So I will probably in the next few weeks get a specialist in probiotics to talk about what they are, do we need them, what do they do for our gut health, what is a prebiotic and how it differs from a probiotic. Because I was doing some looking at research today, I'm thinking, oh my gosh, there's so much out there, and then you don't know what to buy and what to do. So that's why I like to give these sessions so that we can work together and try to find the best solution. And please remember, if you're going to start any vitamin or supplement, please talk to your physician about it before, just to make sure that what you're taking is going to be safe for you, and then what the amount is. So with that, I'm going to let it close. I really want to thank everyone that joined tonight. I'm glad that I'm back on track. Really happy to be with you guys. And then next week, next week we're going to talk about essential oils and weight loss. So how oils can help us with weight loss and other things, products, things we can do in our lifestyle to help us lose weight. Because it's getting close to bikini season, spring, the summer. I'm going to go on vacation in May, so I want to look good in my bathing suit. So it's going to be a really interesting topic. Thank you for all joining me tonight. I'm going to say farewell. Thanks again, and I'll see you next Wednesday at 6:30. Take care.